Breaking, Jim Jones' son breaks silence, Chrissy ruined their family. Y'all, forget what you thought you knew about hip-hop love stories, because this one just got torch-tanned, not by tabloids, not by blogs, but by Jim Jones's own flesh and blood. That's right. The son just broke his silence, and what he said. Who? This ain't no cute VH1 flashback. This is betrayal, manipulation, and full-on family collapse served cold with a side of receipts. Imagine sitting across the dinner table from the woman who, according to a leaked voice memo, shattered your family like fine china, then smiled for the cameras like nothing ever happened. Yeah, we're talking about Chrissy Lampkin, the so-called ride or die who may have been riding dirty this whole time. What if I told you the real reason? Jim never married Chrissy wasn't cold feet. It was cold betrayal. What if I told you that behind those Levant hip-hop edits was a woman allegedly pulling strings like a mafia boss in red bottoms? And what if the son jest blew the whole thing wide open? Grab your tea, your snacks, and your burner Twitter accounts, because what's coming next will make your timeline look like a crime scene. They said silence is golden. But sometimes it's a ticking time bomb. Jim Jones's son just let it explode without mercy. What once looked like a love story wrapped in glitz, designer heels, and red carpet photo ops is now being exposed as a decade-long emotional hostage situation, and at the center of it all, Chrissy Lampkin, the woman who fans once crowned the queen of ride or die, but who, behind closed doors, may have been playing puppet master while the family crumbled in silence. This isn't reality TV anymore. It's real pain, real betrayal, and a voice memo that just shattered the myth. In his own words, Jim's son says, "She didn't just break my dad's heart. She broke this whole family." And with that one sentence, everything we thought we knew about their relationship blew up like cheap champagne at a fake engagement party. Imagine growing up in a house where the cameras capture cute couple moments, but off camera, you're watching your father lose himself day by day while the woman he loves allegedly plays games with his mind. Money and peace, and he let her. That's the part that hits hardest. According to the leaked voice memo, Jim's son recalls nights where the walls weren't just thin, they were screaming. Screaming with arguments, betrayal, and a silence so loud it turned into trauma. He used to just sit there, the son says. Just sit there while she iced him out, flipped stories, cried on cue, and made him believe it was all his fault. And he believed her every damn time. But this isn't some bitter kid throwing shade. This is a grown man finally peeling back years of toxic silence. He says the manipulation wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. Chrissy allegedly had access to everything, passwords, contracts, even his tour schedule. She would cancel meetings, reroute calls, and tell people Jim was unavailable when, in reality, he was sitting alone wondering why no one was calling. That's not love. That's control in heels and lipstick. And it gets worse. According to the Sun, Chrissy had a habit of disappearing for business trips, often to cities where Camron just happened to be performing. Sound familiar? That's because the rumor mill has been spinning this tale for years, I whispered. Affair between Chrissy and Cam, the ultimate betrayal not just to Jim, but to Dipset loyalty itself. At first, fans dismissed it as gossip, but now the dots are connecting fast. Jim's son claims he once saw messages, late-night FaceTime logs, even travel receipts. But the breaking point: the night Jim flew out to surprise Chrissy in Atlanta and allegedly found Cam's wallet in her hotel suite. No Cam, just the wallet and Chrissy standing there like a deer in designer headlights. The next morning, she vanished, canceled everything. And according to the assistant who booked that trip, Chrissy didn't even pack her bags. She just left. What kind of grown woman runs from her man like that unless there's something to hide? And while the internet is still catching its breath, fans are already piecing together old reunion clips, archived interviews, and those suspicious moments we all ignored at the time. Like that time Cam showed up unannounced on Love and Hip Hop and Chrissy's body language screamed more than her mouth ever did. One fan posted, "She looked at Cam like he held her past, her secrets, and her guilt all in one stare." Oh, wow. The public speculates. Jim's son says he doesn't care about gossip, he cares about what it did to his father. I used to ask him, "Why don't you leave?" The voice memo reveals. And he'd say, "She's all I got, man." Like he was trying to convince himself more than me. That line alone paints the real picture not of love, but of dependence. A man too invested to walk away, too loyal to see the poison, too proud to admit he was drowning, and the son was right there watching every second of it. Watching his father unravel, watching Chrissy spin every confrontation into a sob story. Watching the world applaud her strength while she allegedly pulled strings like a reality TV villain behind the scenes. But what really hits is when the son says, "This ain't even about cheating no more. It's about survival." Watching someone you love disappear in front of you while pretending everything's fine for the cameras. That's the part no one talks about. And he's right, 'cause Chrissy didn't just allegedly betray Jim. She branded herself as the one who stayed. But staying means nothing if you're the one breaking everything from the inside out. And now, with this voice memo out and more whispers turning into screams, fans are starting to wonder if Jim ever really loved Chrissy or if he just loved who he hoped she was. Asterisk, and just when you think it can't get any messier. The second part of the voice memo drops like a bomb at 2:04 a.m. No filter. No beat, no warning. Just raw pain and unfiltered truth from the same son who's kept his mouth shut for years. This time, it's not just about what Chrissy did to Jim, it's about what she did to all of them. "She was toxic to us, to the whole family," he says. And that's when everything clicks. Because this isn't just a story about a couple falling apart. This is about a house divided, a legacy derailed, and a man who let the storm in because he mistook the lightning for love. The son talks about being 14 and hearing the fights through the walls. One night he says he heard his father shouting, "You could have told me. You didn't have to humiliate me like this." And Chrissy's reply, "I needed something real, Jimmy. You were never really here." That line alone is enough to freeze time. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter, the damage was already done. That kind of sentence doesn't just cut deep, it echoes. From that night on, everything changed. No more family pictures, no more cute interviews, no more spark. Jim started to fade from the spotlight, not because the industry forgot him, but because he forgot himself. He wasn't heartbroken, was invisible. The interviews started getting awkward. The chemistry fans used to love turned into silence. And yet Chrissy kept showing up for the cameras, smiling like everything was fine. That's what the son couldn't stomach. Watching his father shrink year after year while the woman who allegedly destroyed them got brand deals, reality shows, and clout. That's not love. That's manipulation, he says. And you know what? The people are listening, because now, this isn't just a scandal, it's a movement. Social media's blowing up. Old clips are resurfacing. Fans are pointing out the weird energy in past episodes, the coldness in their body language, the way Chrissy always controlled the narrative. One ex-stylist even came forward anonymously, saying Chrissy was always 5 steps ahead. She knew how to cry on camera, then give orders behind the scenes. It was like watching a producer disguised as a girlfriend. But it doesn't stop there. The leaks keep coming. Now, there's an alleged email from Chrissy's publicist sent to a TV executive, demanding that the Camron questions be off limits. In interviews, why would you dodge a rumor so hard if there was nothing behind it? And then came Camron's little contribution to the chaos. He didn't say much, just posted a clip from an old Dipset video standing next to Chrissy with the caption, "Some memories age like wine." No tags, no explanation, just smoke. And the internet, they lost it. Threads exploded. Fans dissected the caption, the timing, the smirk. They dug up a 2016 interview where Cam was asked about women in the industry. He looked straight at The Camron said, "Some women are loyal to the spotlight, not the man holding it." Now, with the benefit of hindsight, people are saying that wasn't a generic statement. That was shade. That was a whole forest worth of shade aimed at Chrissy. And you know what? She'd never denied it. She'd never clapped back. She just pivoted, like she always does. But now she can't pivot fast enough, because the narrative is spinning out of her control. And with Jim's son talking, that ride or die image is cracking like cheap foundation under pressure. He says Chrissy wasn't just tough on Jim, she was cold to everyone. Made holidays weird, made family dinners feel like business meetings. She isolated Jim. Even threw away letters he wrote to his late friend stacked bundles, according to Mama Jones. And speaking of Mama Jones, the original firecracker herself, she's finally stepping in. In a teaser for an upcoming podcast, she goes off. "Y'all, she wasn't right, but everybody said I was crazy. Ain't crazy. I just saw the devil behind the diamonds." She talks about watching her son fall in love with a storm dancing and lightning, thinking it was a light show. But storms don't stop. They wait until you're too tired to run. And Jim, he ran out of gas a long time ago. The son says he used to watch his father try to leave, try to get his footing. But every time he got close to breaking free, something would magically leak. An old beef would resurface, a private argument would hit the blogs, and somehow Chrissy always had the perfect reaction ready. Tears on cue, silence at the right time. A sudden interview about how hard love can be. But behind the scenes, according to a former assistant, she was the one pulling the plug on meetings, deleting messages, even allegedly canceling shows behind Jim's back. And that's when the real question hits. How much of Jim's career setbacks were really just sabotage dressed up as bad timing? The son says it best. This wasn't a relationship. It was a performance. And my dad was the only one who didn't know he was on stage. And now, with more leaks on the way, spotlight is swinging back to where it always should have been, in the truth. And just when the dust starts to settle, another anonymous leak drops, and this one cuts deeper than all the rest. A distorted phone recording, grainy but sharp enough to catch every chilling word. Jim's voice, quiet and defeated, says, "She don't even look at me the same. I'd be in the crib feeling like a ghost, like I'm in her way." Let that sink in. That's not just heartbreak. That's a man who's given everything and still ends up invisible in his own home. And while this audio makes the rounds, lighting up every gossip blog, fan forum, and burner account on the internet, Chrissy, still silent, no tweets, no posts, no denial. Just a calculated stillness that now feels more like strategy than shock. Because, make no mistake, Chrissy knows how to spin. She's been spinning narratives since season 1 of every show she's ever hijacked. From Love and Hip Hop to fashion deals to Instagram reels, she's made a career out of controlled chaos. But this time, the script is slipping, and people are finally seeing the strings. Because now it's not just Jim's son or Mama Jones talking. It's former stylists, assistants, VH1 staffers, and even old friends, all anonymously dropping receipts like it's clearance season. One DM reads, "She always had a backup plan. She said if she ever had to walk away, she'd walk away with power." And another, "Jimmy wasn't paranoid. He was exhausted. He used to say, if she leaves, I lose more than just Lovi. Lose everything." That line hits like a freight train. Because suddenly, all the years Jim stayed start to make more sense. It wasn't just loyalty, wasn't fear of being alone, it was survival. Survival in a world where walking away meant handing over the keys to his empire. To someone who allegedly held all the passwords, all the contracts, all the secrets. And now the question becomes, what was really keeping Jim in that house? Was it love, or was it leverage? 'Cause, according to one insider from a now-defunct production team, Chrissy allegedly had talks with network executives about launching her own show. Not a couples show, not a love story, a solo project. Just her, no Jim, no compromise. Just Chrissy, the brand, the boss, the woman with the narrative in her grip. And if Jim didn't play along, well, she allegedly knew where all the skeletons were buried literally and figuratively. Another leak confirmed this wasn't just idle gossip. A distorted audio clip surfaced 3 nights ago, a heated phone exchange. The voice, believed to be Jim's, says, "If you leak that tape, I'm done." And the reply, ice cold. "Baby, you've been done?" That one line flipped the internet upside down. Fans are now convinced there's footage maybe from that infamous 2014 hotel night in Atlanta. The night Jim allegedly walked in and found Cam's wallet in Chrissy's suite. The footage was said to be lost. But what if it wasn't lost? What if it was hidden, protected, kept as leverage? And now, with a voice memo from Jim's son, with Mama Jones setting the record straight, with Camron throwing low-key shade, with stylists spilling tea and assistants confirming suspicions, it all lines up. This wasn't just a toxic relationship. This was an empire built on illusion, and it's finally collapsing. And as the walls come down, Jim's son isn't done. He posts a cryptic Instagram story, just a torn photo of their family. No words, no music, just one side of the picture. Jim, the other side, ripped away. The caption, "Sometimes peace comes with loss." Fans start spiraling. Timelines flood. Hashtags explode. Free Jim Jones, Chrissy exposed, family first. Everyone's waiting to see if this means what they think it means. Jim and Chrissy, over. And not just off camera officially, but here's the plot twist. Insiders are now saying Chrissy already has her next move lined up. She's allegedly shopping a tell-all documentary. A full production where she controls every frame, every sentence, every version of the truth. It's her shot at damage control, her version of the story. But this time, the audience isn't so forgiving. Not after hearing Jim's son choke up while recalling birthdays missed, tension at dinner tables, and growing up in a house where love was staged but the pain was always real. Asterisk. And just when you think that's the final card, boom, Mama Jones speaks again. In a new clip from an upcoming interview, she lets it all out. "I've watched my son dance in the storm for too long. That wasn't love. That was survival dressed in red bottoms." She reveals that Chrissy allegedly isolated Jim from the entire family. Holidays became awkward. Letters to friends disappeared. She even hints that Chrissy might have thrown away correspondence between Jim and his late friend, stacked bundles in. Emotional hit that cut deeper than any tabloid rumor. And now the whole internet is buzzing with the same question. Was Chrissy ever really for Jim? Or was it all smoke, mirrors, and strategy? And while Chrissy stays silent, her silence is starting to say more than her words ever could. The internet doesn't want edits. They want the raw footage, the real truth. And they're turning to Jim for it. According to close sources, he's finally ready to speak, and not through interviews or tweets, but through music. Word on the street is he's quietly recorded a full EP titled Red Flags and Roses. No promo, no press, just pain and poetry. The project reportedly chronicles everything: the love, the fall, the betrayal, the silence. And fans, they're ready. Because for the first time, Jim's not just surviving the narrative. He's reclaiming it. He's telling his story unfiltered, unchained, and unapologetic. So, what now? Chrissy's team is allegedly preparing a legal response. Maybe a lawsuit, maybe a PR storm. But the people, they've heard enough. Because no matter how many filters you slap on a lie, the truth always leaks through. And this time, the dam has burst. What was once love in the spotlight has been revealed as a performance held together by silence, secrets, and survival instincts. And now, every person who stayed quiet is speaking loud. Every truth that was buried is crawling out. And every mask falling dots. So now that everything's out in the open, the voice memos, the cryptic posts, the anonymous leaks, and the brutal truth from Jim's own son, we have to ask, what do you believe? Was Chrissy ever really ride or die? Or was she just riding the spotlight while the family quietly crumbled? Is this just messy breakup drama, or the unraveling of a decade-long performance built on silence and control? And more importantly, is Jim finally waking up, or just now finding the strength to speak after years of being silenced? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Every theory, every hot take, every piece of the puzzle you've been sitting on. Smash that like button if you feel even an ounce of truth hit you today. And if you're tired of fake smiles and scripted love, subscribe right now, because this story is just heating up. More leaks, more tapes, more insiders ready to speak. It's all coming. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a second of the next chapter. Because one thing's for sure, this isn't just about Jim and Chrissy anymore. This is about every lie dressed in designer, every truth buried under fame. Stay locked in, we're just getting started.